Breaking news now at noon. Brevard County reporting one of their deputies involved in a deadly shooting this morning.
Sheriff Wayne Ivey gave an update on that shooting just a short time ago. News 6's Jerry Askin is live in Brevard County for us with the latest. Jerry?
Justin, yes, and right now we know one deputy is on paid leave for opening fire, and the man who was shot this morning was taken to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. And here's the scene right behind me. You see one Brevard County patrol car on the scene here. Investigators said it all happened in Viera around 6:40 this morning at an assisted living facility on Orchestra Lane here. And here's what I can tell you from deputies. They're saying the man may have planned this whole thing as a suicide attempt. Deputies arrived here after that man, they say, threatened to harm himself. He had a gun. He showed it to workers, one worker, and that worker ran away. As deputies went inside, they heard a shot. They tried talking to him. The man then raised his gun, and that's when one deputy opened fire. Sheriff Wayne Ivey saying today at a press conference that the man is believed to have had thoughts of suicide.
This is one of those phenomena where you and I will probably never understand it because our mind is not at that point, so we can't make logic of it. But unfortunately, there's not. Our team encounters these, and our team does everything they can. We know in this specific case that our team tried to engage him in conversation, tried to create a parallel of being able to talk to him and get him to not do this. In fact, they encouraged him to please stop, let us help you. And there was just no getting to that point.
Yeah, and the man who was shot and killed, his name has not been released, and the deputy who opened fire, his or her name have not been released either. We're live in Viera here in Brevard County. I'm Jerry Askin, getting results, News 6.
But first, a brazen burglary caught on camera. You can see masked men break into a local store with a crowbar before ransacking the place. The crooks taking off with tens of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. Glad you're with us. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Lisa Bell. Matt Austin is off. Tonight, the store owner was moved to tears as she described what happened. News 6's Jerry Askin is live inside the store on North State Road 434 in Altamont Springs. So, Jerry, what a mess there.
You know, ladies, what a mess. In fact, as you mentioned, the owner was in tears today. She told me here at June Beauty Supply, thieves took about $40,000 worth of wigs and jewelry from her store here. Thankfully, the whole thing was caught on camera, and she's hoping someone knows something.
I'm hoping as a result of me doing this, the public, somebody will know who these people are, and they'll be caught.
An emotional plea for help. June Moore wants the 4 masked thieves here in this video seen ransacking her beauty supply store around 2:30 Wednesday morning to pay.
My goal is to get them caught and press charges.
She owns June Beauty Supply here in Altamont Springs, and she told me this hurts.
It's just hard to work hard, and they just come in and do this. It's not right.
And look at this man seen holding a crowbar that Moore says was used to break in. Once inside, the guys could be seen taking high-end custom-made wigs, hair bundles, and jewelry, and then driving off in this black SUV. And Moore told me she hopes that someone will recognize the people seen in that video, especially after expensive wigs like this one were stolen. And she told me she believes her business may have been targeted.
They went exactly where they needed to go, the most expensive things, and that's what they took.
Help us identify these subjects.
This coming after video showed a similar break-in not far away at Sassy Sisters Boutique back in December. Police say in that case, thieves stole $13,000 worth of wigs.
That is something that the investigators will look into. At this time, it's too early to tell whether or not they're connected.
Back here at June Beauty Supply, the owner has a message for the guys who stole from her.
Get a job, work, do something. I don't know how they can sleep at nights doing what they do. Obviously, they don't sleep.
Yeah, back live here at June Beauty Supply, and police say they're adding patrols here in this area. If you can recognize the men seen in that video, you're asked to call the Altamont Springs Police Department or Crime Line right away. You may be eligible for a cash reward of up to $5,000, and you can remain anonymous. We're live here in Altamont Springs in Seminole County. I'm Jerry Askin, getting results, News 6.
Though a popular store going up in flames, the owners devastated. This is the second fire at the Seashell House in Fruitland Park in 2 months, and the owners did not have insurance. So glad you're with us. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Matt Austin. News 6's Jerry Askin has the latest on the situation developing there in Lake County.
Well, no one was hurt, thankfully, but the owners here are devastated. You can see there's so much debris here left behind. Even part of the building's foundation is still standing. And to make matters worse, it's the second fire here in less than 2 months.
They say that God doesn't put more on you than you can handle, and I truly believe that, but I'm close to my breaking point.
Owner Susan Bavelli can't believe the historic Seashell House here on Highway 441 in Lake County is now no more. An overnight fire destroying the family-run business that's been here for more than 50 years.
What a mess.
Bavelli walks around the property trying to see what, if anything, she can salvage. She and her husband owns the gift shop best known for its seashell collection, many of them now destroyed.
Very upsetting. I'm very angry. I'm beyond angry.
Angry because she told me she believes the fire may have been set intentionally. No word now on an official cause, but I'm told the state fire marshal's office has now taken over the investigation. It's also coming as another part of the building caught fire back in December. The cause of that fire is still unknown. You can still see debris left behind from that overnight fire and even some of the seashells here. Investigators spent the morning working to find a cause and putting out the hot spots.
Upon arrival, it was fully involved, and we moved into a defensive mode.
2 massive fires here in less than 2 months, and the owner tells me the damages are almost $200,000.
There was no insurance, unfortunately, because the building was too old.
And the owner said the gift shop here hasn't been fully operational in about 3 years. Again, the state fire marshal's office will determine the official cause of fire. News 6 will keep you posted. I'm Jerry Askin here in Lake County, getting results. News 6.
Oh, a couple terrified when they say dozens of people on dirt bikes surrounded their car and just started shooting. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
Hey, glad you're with us tonight. I'm Matt Austin. They tell News 6 they think this was a case of road rage. The whole thing happened near East Colonial Drive and Dean Road. News 6's Jerry Askin has the latest on the investigation from Orange County.
I happen to look up and I see this hole in my window.
Scary moments for this couple riding down East Colonial Drive near Dean Road back on February 27th.
Boom, like a hollow sound.
This man doesn't want to show his face for his family's safety, but he wants the group of motorcyclists who, he said, shot at them to pay. The victim said it happened after a few of them first tried to cut him off after he and his wife were leaving the grocery store.
They had scraped across the car, the side of the car, and I had a few words for the guy. I asked him if he was, what the frig. At that time, the light turned green, and that's when they started punching and kicking my car.
He said they ended up getting away and called 911.
I bumped them off to the sides because they were trying to block me in and slow me down, and I took off.
This family knows things could have been much worse, and they're so thankful their grandkids were not riding in the back seat where you can see their shattered glass. They said a bullet came from the back window and landed right here on the headrest. The Orange County Sheriff's Office said it appears to be an isolated incident as the search for a motive and the gunman continues.
I'm afraid to run into these guys.
And if you can help this family who says they're living on a fixed income repair their vehicle, I posted a link to a GoFundMe account on our website, clickorlando.com. Meantime, if you can help make an arrest in this case, or if you know anything, you're asked to call the Orange County Sheriff's Office right away. In East Orange County, I'm Jerry Askin, getting results. News 6.
Right now, flags are flying at half-staff to mark 4 years since the deadly shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. 17 people were killed Valentine's Day 2018 when a former student walked onto campus in Parkland and opened fire. While moments of remembrance take place today, there are also calls at the federal level to do more to address gun violence. News 6's Jerry Askin joins us now live in studio with that. Jerry.
Hey, Ginger, and the parents of one of those victims traveled to our nation's capital today pushing for more gun legislation. The father, in fact, even getting arrested amid his calls for change. This coming in light of a nationwide day of prayer, service, and tributes for those 14 students and 3 staff members who died on Valentine's Day 4 years ago. Here are the victims' faces, their legacy still living on after that 2018 Valentine's Day massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. In Broward County today, 17 doves were released outside of a community wellness center and a moment of silence held at several schools as the victims' names were read aloud.
Nicholas Dorat, Aaron Price.
It's a pain that Patricia Oliver says still hurts.
Really, every day remind us the pain.
Her son, Joaquin, was one of the victims killed on that somber day. Today, she and her husband traveled to D.C. fighting for gun legislation and continue demanding action from White House leaders.
They have to care how many people is losing by gun violence every single second of the day.
Her husband, Manuel Oliver, was even arrested this morning after climbing part of his construction tower outside the White House. His message, the gun violence has to stop.
I would like to see changes that improve our safety.
Meantime, Nicholas Cruz, who was a former student, pled guilty last October to killing 17 people during that tragic day. He also apologized for his actions. But still there are people like Patricia Oliver left to grieve, knowing she'll never see her son again.
You don't want to be in our body, feeling and suffering the tragedy and the loss of a loved one.
President Biden releasing a statement late today saying in summary, his administration has put together a comprehensive plan to reduce gun crime. He said he's also asked Congress to pass a budget to include an extra $500 million for plans he says will reduce violent crime. You can read his full statement right now at clickorlando.com.
More breaking news. Russia's invasion of Ukraine led to a wild day on Wall Street. Concerns are growing that food and energy prices will rise even more. Stocks opened sharply lower today. Stocks posting big declines earlier in the day. The Nasdaq began in bear market territory, but this afternoon a rebound of sorts. Nasdaq ending up a bit. News 6's Jerry Askin is standing by, and Jerry, this could impact not just Wall Street but Main Street as well, including groceries and gas prices.
That's right, Lisa. According to an economist today I spoke with, and he said what is most concerning, there is no clue how long the economic impact could last.
It absolutely is concerning. And it should be for everybody.
Dr. Jerry Parrish is an economist with Florida State University with a background in international trade law and European Union law. He says the impact of the invasion may have a long-lasting impact on the fundamental supplies Americans rely on.
If you eat or you use electricity or you burn gasoline, you're going to be affected here.
He said the U.S. relies on Russia and Ukraine for international trade in goods, including oil and wheat.
I suspect electricity prices are going to increase because of natural gas increases as well. Certainly fertilizer prices are going to increase.
And according to Parrish, that increase could continue to extend to the gas pumps.
The longer this thing lasts, we may even see toward $5 like they already see out in California.
And when it comes to our savings and 401ks,
but it's going to be a tough day for your 401k. You know, your grandma's savings account, probably the amount of money she's going to get paid on that wasn't very much, and it's probably not going any higher anytime soon.
I also asked about the impact we could see on tourism in Central Florida, with Orlando being a major travel hub for Europeans.
There could be some Europeans that may have wanted to come to Florida this year that may not be able to now. You know, they're afraid to leave, or they're not willing to spend money when all this uncertainty is going on out there.
And Visit Orlando, which tracks tourism here in our area, told me it is too soon to predict any potential impact on Orlando's tourism industry. At a press conference today, President Joe Biden told a reporter that the economic toll on Americans will be short-lived and said, quote, as long as we continue to stay resolved. Live in the studio, Jerry Askin, Getting Results, News 6.
Also developing tonight, Crosley Green, the man convicted for the shooting death of a 22-year-old nearly 3 decades ago, is talking about his plan to stay free.
So he was actually released last year after a federal judge overturned his conviction. News 6's Jerry Askin was at today's press conference in Brevard County. So, Jerry, a hearing is coming up that could send him back to jail?
Yes, and for now, Crosley Green and his legal team are asking the appeals panel of court to reconsider their recent decision. Now, today, Green spoke at this well-known church here in Titusville to share his story as he continues to fight for freedom. He says what happened to him was wrong, and I spoke with him ahead of a press conference.
I look forward to staying home, staying free, and put this behind me.
Crosley Green is a free man, yet still fighting to keep his freedom after spending half of his life in prison for a crime he says he didn't commit.
I pray that the judges will keep me free and take a look at this once again.
Today, he sat down with me to share his push for justice. Green's murder conviction was overturned in 2018 after he spent 32 years in prison, 19 of them on death row, for the shooting death of 22-year-old Charles Flynn in this Citrus Grove. A federal judge saying prosecutors withheld information that officers suspected the victim's ex-girlfriend may have been the shooter. You don't believe that he did this?
No, I don't. I don't.
Diane Clark said she was working as a sergeant for the Brevard County Sheriff's Office and was one of the first to arrive on the scene. Green's attorney by his side and says he was wrongfully convicted.
There was a lot of evidence that in fact points to Crosley's innocence. So we'll just let the record speak for itself.
Now, a recent court ruling may force Crosley to return to prison after the Florida Attorney General's office appealed the 2018 decision, saying it was improperly ruled.
The good Lord brought me this far.
Amen.
He's going to continue to carry me.
Amen.
And I'm going to be here.
Yeah, News 6 will keep you posted as this legal battle continues. Now, News 6's family, Green's family, I should say, spoke out in support of him today at this church. You'll hear their reaction and working that part of the story for News 6 at 6 o'clock. We're live here in Titusville, Brevard County. Jerry Askin getting results, News 6.